Like I've not lost anything.
No, you've gained money from it, so I mean, of course
So
you're okay with that.
so
It's hard to be mad at a game that hands you like I think it was $60 or something that you made profit off of it or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Hard to be mad at a game that does that, right?
Yeah, because there's a bunch of really salty people on the Reddit and stuff. It's just like I just can't be mad.
Yeah,
Like I understand that you guys want to play this game and you're upset with the devs and stuff. But I just don't care.
yeah.
I'm sorry. I mean, I actually did play the Call of Duty Black Ops beta when it was out last weekend. So that was fun. Yeah, like I'm still on the hunt for like a first-person shooter that I can actually
Sink time into.
stomach,
No,
sink time into and stomach sort of thing.
no, yeah.
Like it's just I don't know. Lately, it's because yeah, like I'm kind of also swinging towards the whole Counter Strike issue. Like I love PUBG, but I don't have the time to play rounds of PUBG anymore either.
No, I mean like I really dislike PUBG because of how terrible it is, right? And a lot of the things have shifted. Like I think a lot of the population of it has shifted towards Fortnite, which is a
Oh
game
yeah,
that is
that
that is
oh
much better, much more well made than
oh
PUBG
yeah,
is. Holy
oh,
shit.
and there's a considerable amount of buzz on the new battle royale mode in Call of Duty as well because like it's the first person like battle royale that actually handles well and isn't like janky shit basically.
Yeah,
So like I think the only major issue really with the game at the moment is like the balance of armor because like you get like the highest hit armor in the game, you could literally take like magazine dumps to the face no problem, which is a bit of an issue. But other than that, uh, they kind of need to balance that. But other than that, it's actually a really fun battle royale. So,
oh yeah,
but again, like even if I don't want to play battle royale, I can like with because it's Call of Duty, I can play the co-op mode of zombies, or I can play like the actual deathmatch.
oh yeah.
I don't have to just play battle royale. So yeah, but, yeah, I'm just yeah, I'm kind of looking for a shooter to play. Really, this week I was playing EI for a bit. I'm still might get back into it at some point.
Oh yeah, yeah. We could play Ive at some point. Because I mean, I imagine you want to play with more than just me and no one else. Because we're playing
Oh
with Dean and shit, right?
yeah, I think it's literally Dean's that our progress is tied to Dean. So
Oh
like, if
yes,
you want to continue where we left off, Dean needs to be involved.
for
But yeah,
sure. But yeah, I was just looking at the. I'm fucking outraged how poor. Like, I almost want to fucking apply at like Nippon Soft America because I feel like whoever fucking runs that place is so out of touch with what's happening. They have no idea. They're like, okay, so this game is like 49.80 yen, right? And it's just 49.99 in pretty much every other currency except for rubles and um like fucking Brazilian whatever they use. I imagine I don't know if it's pesos or not, but regardless,
Brazil bucks.
Brazil bros the it's like 39 or 93.99 ways or whatever. But yeah, no, so it's fucking stupid. Like it's like the most expensive in the UK, cheap if you're in America, uh, fucking dog shit cheap if you're in Russia and Brazil, but that's kind of the norm, and then also cheaper if you're in Japan. And I'm like, what the fuck is this?
I don't get it, dude.
Yeah, like I'm like, our products are relatively niche, right? And it's like, yes, now that we're releasing on Steam, distribution costs are practically zero. So maybe we should turn down our prices, maybe adjust, like just have like somebody look up what the general value is of currency on the internet or something for like 5 seconds, and then like adjust the prices based on that. And it's like,
I
nope.
tell you something, dude, they have been doing that with the Disgaea 5. Like, go look at the price of Disgaea 5 for a
Yeah.
second. That game's not even out yet, by the way.
It was out for PS4, right? Or something
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
yeah, no, yeah, it's out for PS4, it's out on Switch, but like they're releasing because like you gotta remember, Level Rain came out in the beta ages,
Oh, did it?
ages
Okay.
ago, like last year. So it's not like a brand new game. It's not like a new game they just developed for the modern consoles. Just nobody brought it because it was on the Vita.
Outside of Japan, because
Yeah,
the Vita is a commercial success in Japan itself.
yeah. I get you. But like,
Yeah, holy shit! It's a Disgaea 5 complete. It's actually 29.99, which is a reasonable price for like a quote unquote AAA game.
exactly. So
Yeah,
why?
it's like I don't know, it just feels very sloppy. It's like it just and they don't like even though their games are I consider their games like well above average for like anime RPG type dealios, they just absolutely blow all this other boring shit out of the water. Like even if you don't like the story, even if you think the like cutscenes are cringe or whatever the fuck, like the game mechanics are so much more solid and well refined than any of the other shit I've seen out there, which is just plain ass fuck RPG stuff. At least as far as I've seen, but they just don't advertise at all. Feels like they just kind of like, yep, well, we have like a small audience in America. We realize that they exist, but we're not gonna advertise or like talk to Steam, maybe get like, hey, we just released our thing, like as like a little pop up. Nope, they don't
Yeah,
seem to do
here's
any
the
of
thing,
that.
right? They've actually released other games like Labyrinth of Refrain,
Yeah,
like that, right? And they don't charge more than 20 quid for one of their games here on the PCs. They know generally what to fucking charge.
yeah,
Yet they decided to charge 50 quid for that game. Like,
yeah. I
and
don't.
those games on there are like, I would argue are just as good as Labyrinth of Refrain. So like, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
It's like I want to support you, but you keep making the stupid decisions that prevent you from doing so. For fuck's sake.
yeah. I don't understand why. Like, no idea.
Sorry, I didn't defend you about this sort of stuff.
No,
It's
I
just,
am absolutely like no, I 100% agree. Like that's what frustrates me so much about like and like just NIS America is that uh they are not they don't seem to because the way I see the market and maybe I'm just completely out of touch as well. A lot of the fucking anime RPGs that are released on Steam are fucking dog shit, right? They're absolute trash. I'm just talking purely mechanically here. Like maybe they have good stories. I don't know. I've never played one of them, but they like I look at like what their kind of like deal is to kind of see if they're maybe interesting. But nope, they're all just like the same boring shit over and over again. And then you have like Nippon Ichi Software, which is like if it was like an indie game, right? If fucking Cladon, um, Sengoku Returns was like an indie game on Kickstarter, it would just fucking like people would just shoot money at it like for like infinity because it's an actual action roguelike with sprite graphics that's actually good and has a lot of features.
yeah,
But I don't know, like they just don't really seem to go for it as much with that kind of stuff. They don't advertise it at all. Like I have a very hard time like I have to literally go to their publisher's profile on Steam in order to find games that they've released.
yeah, yeah. And the only reason I know they release stuff is because I basically check the store every day.
Oh, yeah.
When I'm bored at 5 minutes of work, I just flick through what's come out recently. That's become more tedious since it because it released hordes of shit.
Yeah, the hordes of fucking schlock on Steam. Though it is getting better. I think they're working on getting rid of it. But
I generally like these wizardry style grid based like dungeon crawlers with JRPG battles and stuff. It's just like look, especially not coming from this, they do generally to put like a different spin
yeah,
or or at least make very good traditional style versions of those games. It's just like the pricing is just out of whack here. Like I just don't get it. Like they know that generally because actually honestly when those games get released on the 3DS and all that and on the Switch or eventually the Switch, they're gonna be released for like 30, 40 quid. They want like 50.
I think
Like,
they. I also think the main issue is that the people that handle the Steam, like effectively the people that handle the like PC market, the foreign PC market, like just aren't as like they just don't. It's like an afterthought. It's like not a priority. I guess their priority is just the console releases, which is probably where they get the most of their money from, because that's where they actually like put their effort in. But they just don't like. I feel like they don't put anything in, like advertising wise, because I'm pretty sure they could talk to Valve or Steam and then be like, hey, we have this big game getting a port on Steam. Can it just have like a little thing where it just actually pops up to people that like, I'm not subscribed to like the anime shit, but I'm sure a lot of people are on Steam. So hey, the people that like that shit, can they just get like a little pop up when we release our shit on there? I'm sure they'd probably have to pay a lot of money for that, but the amount of money they'd get back for that would be massive. And it's not like they're poor. Like Nippon Ichi is a profitable business. So
yeah,
if
or people like to try and spin that distracting, but they're not.
no,
Yeah, and also Labyrinth of Refrain, like, please don't take this the wrong way, but like, there's a reason these grid-based RPGs are very popular in Japan because they're quite easy to make.
oh yeah,
Static images generally with like traditional JRPG battles which have been done since time immemorial.
oh yeah,
The 3D mazes and stuff are relatively easy to make, and I can make those on on like Game Maker.
oh
So
yeah. They're
like
easy
if I can do
to
it, then
program.
these guys can easily do it.
They're very easy to program, though. Obviously, if you have an artist. So
Yes.
doesn't mean you like a static image. Well, I mean, you gotta get an artist to draw like at least a couple of hundred of those if you want to have a game that actually has
Oh
some
yeah,
variety in
yeah,
there.
I know. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's as far as games go, like yeah, because obviously there's a lot of polish behind it. Like playing through the game, it's pretty obvious that they like a lot of stuff is like taken into consideration when you're actually playing it. Like the information's cleanly presented to you and stuff, and like the game does actually have a decent tutorial that teaches you how to play the game. Um, like overall, it's a very well made game. I'm not saying that, but like what I'm saying is it's not the most expensive
No,
like type of
definitely,
game to make.
definitely not. No, because the all you just need like here's the thing though, right? And this is also gonna be like a bit of a fucking jab at Japan. I feel like the average skill of game developers in Japan seems to really like generally be quite low, I want to say, because a lot of the games that they tend to release, right? Um, like some of them make Unity games and they just are like quite poorly optimized. They have like weird practices that like have been ironed out like in Western game studios that they still use. Like for example, tying physics to the fucking
Frame
game clock or frame rate, and it's like, what? Like that sort of shit, which is like just oversights that you don't really see in like maybe it's because they are primarily doing console development or whatever the fuck, and then that's why they're like, oh well, the frame rate is always a steady 24 a second. But but yeah, there's not a lot to fuck up when making a game like that because if you can just get if you can just iron out the system of making a just a dungeon roaming game like that, um, not a lot can go wrong with it. So it would just be a matter of content design. And I've made like a fair few RPGs in just I've just developed a fair few RPGs using coding, I guess. So it's if you know what you're doing, it's not easy for sure because it is like it's easier to quote unquote make like something like a shooter or whatever the fuck. But if you know what you're doing, it's not that. It's like effectively like if you have database knowledge, you can do it.
Yeah, yeah. I got next week off, so
Nice.
yeah, I've been also the really recent like also like I've not been doing much in the way of D&D because I was planning on doing some today, but I've actually been doing job searching, so I'm trying to get out of my current job.
Oh yeah.
So, pushing colleagues ain't no fun. I'm kind of done with it, but yeah, it's just finding new opportunities and stuff. Perhaps thinking about taking another course just to train up in something. There's a
Absolutely.
part of me that thinks it's like, well, yeah, it's useful to have, but like, I've got this admin thing. I'm not even using that at the moment. I should be
Well, what
going
else?
towards
What
it.
else would you do then? And what would you take
Anything,
a
to
course?
be
What would
honest,
you
like,
take a course in? I would say. Sorry, that's what I meant.
like, I still want to be pushing trolleys.
I know, but like, what course would you go for if you're gonna go for a course?
I don't know. There's plenty of them. That's the thing. It's like there's a retail course that lets you to train up in all different aspects of retail, including financing and stuff like that. That seems pretty interesting. Me taking that would actually allow, would actually probably get me inside. Um, don't like. I kind of want to get out of Tesco's, but at the same time, if I can just get out of my current department, that would be okay too. Um, but I don't know. Like that's the issue. Like I don't know what I want to do really. Like I just want to do anything that isn't.
Well, because what kind of jobs are available in your area then?
Well, that's the thing. Mostly retail. It's mostly retail. Or care work. And I'm gonna be real with you, dude. I don't think I'd be a particularly good carer.
No, no. I like it. The care work seems like a job for the purely masochistic. Like it's
God,
insane.
my mum used to care for disadvantaged people and like really really disabled like adults, and it's horrible.
You can say it, COD players.
Yeah, I'm gonna be throwing myself in the fucking disabled thing in a few minutes. But yeah, but yeah, yeah. Oh wow, this looks like you could have done in an hour and 30 minutes.
Nice.
Okay, well I'll leave it downloading. At least I'll have it downloaded by tonight, I suppose.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've just been wanting to play like some kind of shooter, anything, but it's just not Counter Strike.
Yeah, no, I get it. Counter Strike is very anti-chill, and I mainly just like it for the bans because it does create like a. It's like I don't know. It's just a very funny like game to play with friends, right? Because it isn't like something like Dota or League where you actually have to like really try hard throughout the whole game. Because when you die, you just get to take a nice little break. You don't have to worry about anything anymore. And the coordination and teamwork is like it's a thing, but it's like at the level that we play it at, it doesn't really matter too much. The raw skill of just being able to shoot matters more. So it's pretty chilled out, and you get hilarious situations. But yeah, no, like
I need to actually potentially, I need to potentially back up the Division with Siege just in case I need to reinstall them because fuck me, these download times. Actually, they're not bad. It's just like it's just taking a while. Yeah, apologies. We should be playing something, but
I don't really own like I want to say I don't own a lot of shooters, but I think that's true as well.
yeah, I don't know.
Counter Strike is very if you when I think about it, Counter Strike is really the outlier game that because I don't play shooters. I've never as even as a child never enjoyed shooters. It's just I enjoy Counter Strike because of the memes and
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, actually, Counter Strike I think is still my most played game.
I enjoy the Division because of the RPG. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've almost 800 hours in Global Offensive, so
you know what the sad part is? I've got like more hours in EU4 than I have hours of like education in terms of like well bachelor degree level education I suppose. It's like a bachelor's course EU4 that I've done in terms of hours.
I'm sure you've written many an essay paper to
Yeah.
the
to the developers, telling them to kill themselves in various different ways. And
Yeah,
it's still buying their expansions along the way, you know, buying every game that they make and just like shitting on them all the time, leaving positive reviews but shitting on them like on their Twitters and stuff. I like Wiz, the guy who's in charge of fucking Stellaris, like that man, in my opinion, is the best uh just overall human being that they have in fucking Paradox at the moment, because he is taking a sledgehammer to Stellaris and rebuilding it to be a glorious, hopefully a glorious game from the like slightly mediocre game with no replayability that it is right now.
yeah, I get it. Well, speaking of strategy games, I did actually pick up Frozen Synapse too, but I've not played much of it. It just seemed pretty interesting with
I-
what I've played so far.
Is it isn't it a sports game, or is that like some another thing that I'm thinking of?
No, you're thinking of
Frozen
Frozen
Cortex.
Cortex,
Yeah, okay.
which is made by the same guys. But yeah, this is it's like an open world, like there's like a big like futuristic city, and you basically got to try and stop this mysterious like entity from taking over the city and stuff. And there's like a bunch of different factions which you can interact with, and like either help or hinder that kind of thing. Like the actual the fights, like you plot your moves within 5 second chunks, and it acts when you go but you go back at the same time. And you have to try and outsmart each other. It's pretty cool, but
Yeah, I like those kind of games.
it's a little on the expensive side right now, I'd argue. But I really like the game, so I picked it up.
Yeah.
But my issue is I like right now there's a bunch of games I really want to play, so
Oh yeah, like that's
I
also like yeah. Go
I
ahead.
have to kind of force myself. To, okay, no, I'm playing Dragon Quest. I'm playing like no, this game because like otherwise I
For
won't
sure.
finish.
Yeah, I'm probably not even gonna pick up like Disgaea 5 complete. Why? Because well, one, I'm playing Claudin at this is Sengoku at the moment, and in all honesty, like I can only handle like one uh
I think.
time sync at a time, yeah. And I know this it has like a board game or something introduced into it now, which is different from 4, but I've played 4, you know, and I've played 4 to the point where I've got everything 99 So I've kind of had my fill of like this guy on this for a
Yeah, I get
moment,
you.
for the moment.
Yeah, I've got it on the Switch. It'll probably be a game I go back to in a bit. I think the next, like, because obviously I've pre-ordered the new Call of Duty, but other than that, like, I think the next game I'm looking forward to is the new Warriors Orochi game, the new Dynasty Warriors game, effectively that's coming out. After that, I'm probably not buying any more games this year because like I've got just too much on my plate right now. So,
For sure. Like the main reason why I have so many fucking games is Humble Bundle. Like you'll notice that I have not played the majority of my games. Just
oh yeah, like that goes without saying. To be honest, dude, like
yeah,
there isn't enough time in the day.
not necessarily. It also not necessarily, but it just is like um I also because of the Humble Bundle I also have a lot of games that aren't necessarily good on my Steam library.
Yeah,
So
that's it.
and I don't go for single player experiences at all. I think Chaos at some point gave me like the Metro Complete Edition or whatever the hell.
Oh yeah,
And I've heard it's a good game. I just don't really play solos. I don't play single player games that are like story centric or whatever the hell. If I want to have a story, I just watch a movie or something.
yeah, I get you.
Like
Oh, the actual gameplay of it's pretty good though.
yeah, but I don't do single player shooters, whatever.
Yeah, I get you.
So like there needs to be some kind of like something else. Like I don't really play a lot of games that don't have any kind of like progression. I've been kind of like teasing getting back into Dota 2 though, even though I was never really into Dota 2. I've apparently played it for 70 hours, which I don't really believe, but um, because I've watched like other people play it and other people talk about it, and I'm like I should give that a go. I'm purely casual. I don't absolutely do not want to ever play that game to
I
win.
may join you on that if that ever comes to be.
All right.
Because if I've been real with you, man, I can't like I used to prefer League, but the issue is now that you need to unlock all the heroes for League, and I'm so far behind on that. Like,
Yeah,
and it's a bit weird. I know it's a stupid reason to stop that game.
no,
It's just like at
it's
least with
absolutely.
Dota, like yeah, I can at least play versus bots as well.
Yeah,
It's
and
not too bad.
the bots in Dota are actually really good, and you have like custom games which you can literally like. It's like their development kit almost for like you can literally just have a custom game, spawn your hero, spawn any other heroes you want, control them, spawn any creeps you want, give yourself levels, just test shit out effectively is what you can do in that mode, which as far as I remember League doesn't have, and this game is also way more polished than League. So I used to prefer League simply because I played that one first, really, and I preferred the simplicity of it because Dota 2 is very overwhelming in all the shit that there is in it. But now that I kind of have like just because I listen to other people talk about it, I kind of have like a grasp for what's happening, like what's going on. So I'm kind of like, I can play that game, but I only want to play it casually because I don't want to be the guy that's fucking playing that game and it's like, let me just quickly switch out these items before I do this action because that'll mean that I recover 12% more hit points because my hit points will be lower overall. Like I don't want to do that. I'm sorry. I'm never, competitive gaming has never really been my thing. So
Yeah, that's the issue. Like, the people that play that can get because it's got the same issue with Couch Night that those matches can go on for quite a while. Oh,
true.
there is turbo mode now about though, so that does kind of fix things a little bit. But um, and the matches in that mode generally it's the same thing, but it's just the stuff's ramped up by times two.
What
So
in Dota or in CS?
yeah, in Dota.
Oh, okay.
So like
That
matches
might
are
be worth
typically
it.
like in that mode, I believe matches are typically over like at maximum like 30 minutes. So.
Yeah, that's good. Because I mean, like, you can get games that end in Dota in like 30 minutes, but if if like both teams are kind of bad, it can take like an hour plus, which is that's a lot of time.
Yeah, that's my morbid fear.
Because
Because I think Aiden used to play Dota too, actually, or at least versus bots. So
I don't know. Like, let me just actually look. Because I don't really want to play with anyone that's like super actual good at the game. Because then I'll just want to kill myself. Really.
I don't think Aiden was like a serious player of the game.
Okay.
I think he exclusively played it versus bots. So
Yeah, that's the nice thing is like, yeah, if we play Dota, we could definitely just play it against bots until we are
expected.
uh, until we have enough like mental fortitude to step out of our safe space and get absolutely trashed, and like moms are gonna get fucked when we go into that multiplayer. Have like a 12-year-old scream at us that our GPM is way too low, you know?
Yeah, I get you. I've got to restore the queue, I guess.
I'm actually gonna just. I wonder if I can like peep to see who. There we go. Yeah, Wigaman has like fucking 3,000 hours in Dota, which is insane. Um, yeah, I mean,
Did you ever finish any of your games of Age of Wonders, by the way?
we've not finished. Well, we have finished like two of them where we just got absolutely trounced because this is difficulty way too high. But
Okay.
we haven't finished our most recent game because the EU4 expansion came out, if you know what I mean,
Yeah, I get you.
and we were eager to try that.
Yeah, I believe. paradox of publishing the sequel to that, the Planet Ball or whatever.
Of what? Sorry.
Age of Wonders Planet Ball.
Oh right. Oh yeah. Fuck yeah. But that's like, I don't understand why all these games need to go fucking sci-fi. But you know.
Well, I guess they figured like they've kind of done what they could with the fancy setting of Age of Wonders 3.
Yeah, I can get that. In all honesty, I can understand. Though a lot of times with fantasy, I have issues getting into sci-fi, if you know what I mean, because it's just so like weird. Whereas fantasy is very understandable. You know, you have a guy on a horse, and you have a guy not on a horse with a long stick and a with a pointy end, and you're like, I understand that.
Endless Legend, I think, is a nice mix between the two.
Yeah, I have Endless Legends actually. It's like, yeah, it's a fun game. Actually,
Yeah,
do I have Endless Legend? I'm typing. I have Endless Space 1 and 2, but I
you
thought
do,
I had
you
it.
do.
Do I have Endless Legend?
Um, so what I meant is like, do you have Endless Space 1 and 2? Yeah.
No.
You don't have Endless Legend, I don't think.
I remember playing it for sure, so I mean, I must have just not had it on Steam. Oh yeah, because like nobody would play it multiplayer. Like I did force Blarn to buy like Endless Space 2 so that we could play it multiplayer, which we did for like a decent amount.
Is it good?
Yes, but the AI isn't. It has the Civ 5/6 AI problem where the AI just isn't challenging.
Yeah, I get you.
And I think one of the things that kind of like um, that it's kind of like it's the player's quote unquote fault, but like in both Endless Space and Endless Legend, you can make your own custom faction, which I really like, but um, I feel like the AI is also not at all equipped to deal with you if you have made a custom faction, because I feel like you can make a custom faction that just destroys the AI faction like completely, but just gimmicking one thing. So like that's kind of your own fault because you're kind of like, man, if only I didn't make such a stupid faction that it could just trans the AI. But still stands where if there is a meta game to exploit, then I will tend to exploit it. Same in EU4. Nobody forces you in EU4 to fucking expand more, but it's just you're wasting your lead if you don't expand. But yeah, I don't know what shooter we could play if you wanted to play a shooter, unless you have the
Uh,
Division.
yeah, I'm still in the Division. It's gonna take a while. Like again, like don't worry about it. It's just, like generally we should try something, but like
We should do something.
that's my issue. Like I've not been in the mood to play much. Like I'm kind of bored of like a lot of the games that we'd play multiplayer. That's the issue. It's just it's me. It's me.
Mm.
I'm the problem, pal.
It's alright. Because I assume
Like
you don't have Dota, right, installed right now.
no, I am. It is in the queue though.
You need to get yourself more hard drive space, man. Fuck me. It's cheap
No,
nowadays.
no,
What?
dude. It's just like I've been keeping this computer fresh. You know,
Oh,
like I've been
fucking
trying to
fucking fresh.
fresh. You know,
Fresh.
bullshit into it. You know, like
Keeping it fresh.
keeping it fresh.
Keeping it fresh.
Keeping it fresh.
Use all these empty notebooks. Why do you have so many? I'm just keeping them fresh. Like, what the fuck? I only used one page of this notebook because that way the rest of it is fresh. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, no, because if you could fill up your entire hard drive, it's the computer slow stuff.
Only stuff related to that hard drive, and only once you've reached like above 60%, and only if you don't have an SSD. So I mean, those. And it doesn't affect your computer at all if your operating system is on the SSD, and whatever you have on your hard drive is completely irrelevant except for when you're accessing it. So, like, an SSD doesn't get slower the more full it is. So, like, I have just a full SSD which runs my PC, which everything runs really fast, and then I have about like 6 terabytes of hard drive space. This is just normal hard drive space, of which I've used a whole bunch, and that's fine. I mean, I games that launch from that don't really have any issues. They have like a little bit longer loading times, but if the game isn't like dog shit, then it generally just loads really fast. You know, like, and by dog shit I mean if it isn't a total war game, which have like incredibly long loading times. If you're not an SSD.
Yeah, I get you. Um, I must set you free.
Wow.
Because like, in all honesty, dude, I'm trying to get these games installed. Like it's not like I don't appreciate your company, but like literally, there's really that much we could be playing right now. Um, but yeah, like I'll try and get this shit installed so we'll have more to play the next time we speak.
Oh yeah.
Because right
Sure.
now it's like, well, we can play Wreckfest, and that's pretty much it.
Oh yeah, true. We haven't played
So,
Dungeons and
like,
Dragons online in a long time, but I don't
what's
guess
that?
we haven't played Dungeons and Dragons online in a while.
Yeah, I would also need to install that as well.
Oh my god, you just uninstall everything the second you're not fucking using it.
Well, no, this is a new rig, dude.
Oh right, okay, I forgot because it was a while ago, so I don't remember when exactly
Yeah,
that line was drawn.
Sorry, like, there's a reason why I haven't like installed it. Like I don't have that much installed on the computer, so.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like, I might just uninstall Battlegrounds.
We could play I with Dean if he is up to. He is online, or would you rather just chill?
Yeah, I'm actually probably gonna bounce now, my man.
All right.
Like I'll get the games installed, and then like next time we talk, we will have at least something to play.
There will be a game.
Well, yeah, because we could either at least play Dota 2 or Division. You know, I'm
Sure.
actually interested in playing both of those games, and as well as actually, so I'm playing, continuing our derpitude on that.
Yeah.
Where I can be Hacker Boy.
Cyber Demons in the Sand was the last mission that we did.
I'm so glad we've done with that.
Yeah, that is a fucking like, oh my god, that is a hell of a mission.
Literally, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sorry that Logan doesn't really work all that
No,
well.
it's I was kind of fearing that. I wasn't expecting it to like tank its own frame rate though. That was pretty fucking impressive. But like yeah, no, that's a shame. Like I was expecting it to be like you can only do the death race mode thing, which is like really late game, which is like you need at least like 20 hours into the actual game in order to get to that point, which is quite a commitment if you aren't interested in playing it single player, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Right now, I like real talk. I can't
Yeah.
commit to that. I can't commit to that. Some playing other games.
I understand no 100% because if it was like oh you need to play like an hour to unlock it it's like more it's like fine but if it's like oh no it's 20 hours and of those 20 hours you need to actually spend them progressing you can't like half-ass it. It's like yeah no yeah that's not a thing.
Yeah, because like you know, like I'm willing to like put in a few hours or whatever to like play a game in multiplayer, but the issue is it's like I want to like at least finish Dragon Quest, which is like a bit of a time sink. I'm not gonna lie, and like you know, if I'm not playing multiplayer stuff, I'm playing that with Monster Hunter. So
Yeah, how is the Monster Hunter going?
I've been mostly playing on my Switch version, but yeah, it's going okay. I'm slowly progressing through the ranks. I've been doing like a hunt or two a day.
That's actually pretty good.
Like so much content that like I doubt I'll ever get to the end of that game, but it's fine.
Oh yeah,
I consider that game to be more of a buffet than real.
for sure. I think that's every Nippon Ichi game because like when you think you're done in like Nippon Ichi games, you're not done. Like I had like I think on like the Disgaea 4, I had like 50 if 50 to 100 hours as well, and I was like, congratulations, you scratched the surface of Endgame, and I'm like, oh what? So it's like
They had a something Z um the roguelike on the PSP.
Zetai Hero Project.
That's the one.
Yeah.
I wanted them to re-release that because that's actually one of my favorite games there, as well as Makai Kingdom. Like just the games in general, like genuinely, you're gonna tap out before the game does.
For sure.
Which I like that in a game sometimes.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's very good because there's a lot of games nowadays that are incredibly short and are not built to like they just aren't built to get enjoyment out of for a long period of time. But NIS is very good at making games that are enjoyable for a long period of time because any idiot can play a game for a really long time. It's just making a game that is enjoyable for a very long time is hard.
yeah, I get you. I with this game specifically, I really like but it does kind of feel like you're playing a bit of a roguelike.
It is like a roguelike, so
Yeah, I really enjoy that sort of stuff. Um, yeah, man, I just miss playing. Like, I guess I've just been on an RPG kick lately. I was planning on actually like recording myself playing Wizardry 5, but like, Dragon Quest came out. I was like, oh fuck.
yeah. Are you recording yourself playing that?
No,
Oh,
because they get very litigious with the voice acting.
oh really?
Yeah, it's one of those games like Enix for some reason get really shitty if you post stuff on that online because you can get strikes and stuff using the musical for voice acting on it.
Fuck, that sucks.
Yeah, it does because I would have recorded it otherwise. But yeah, like like these days I'm not forcing myself to record stuff. I'm only recording stuff when I really feel like I would actually enjoy recording it and actually having fun with the game and stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I figured a Dragon Quest would be one of those type of games where that would be fun. But if they're like assholes about it for some fucking reason, oh, this guy is showcasing our fucking game that's already released, by the way. It's like
And has been released in Japan for over a year. Their main title is.
showcasing our fucking game. What a sick bastard.
Yeah, because I don't even like monetize my videos, so
Yeah, but I guess YouTube does. So I mean, but
yeah,
still,
technically I guess I do, but like
it's kind of like because it's not like you're publishing it and claiming it as your own, right? YouTube even has that thing where it like shows what media it's from, right? If you're playing a game, it'll like be
yeah,
like, hey, this is that game, which I'm pretty sure is like so that the people that are actually making that game aren't like, well, YouTube, you're just making money off of work that we've done, so that
well, not
YouTube.
only that, but like if you click on it and you're like generally like you could potentially direct you
Exa-
to a store to buy the game.
exactly. YouTube didn't always do that, but now they like for the last year or so they have, or last 2 years or whatever the hell they have, and I find that is like a fair trade-off where it's effectively it's free advertisement. Sure, YouTube is making money off of your quote unquote work, but it's also giving you exposure and actual like proper like it might actually get you some sales, which honestly a lot of times I find games that I want to play is through YouTube. So I mean,
Well, it's games main form of advertising these days, mate. Streams. Like the reason why like the new Call of Duty is so hyped up is because a bunch of really popular streamers played it and really enjoyed themselves playing it.
yeah,
Like,
hey,
because the Call of Duty's been dead for about 5 years, nobody's given a fuck.
yeah,
Now all of a sudden, because they put out a good one, and they've actually had people streaming it in the beta saying, yeah, this game's good, the word of mouth has spread, and now people actually are pre-ordering the game again.
oh yeah.
Like, you'd think that, like, people showcasing their game and stuff, like, would be a good thing. But for some reason they think, oh no, it's like pirating a movie.
Yeah.
It's not. What are you talking about? I don't know.
It's like people that make footballs or something going up to like if you're watching like a football match, you have to like pay the people that made that football that they're playing with. I mean, it's like what the fuck? I'm sorry,
Yeah,
you can't watch somebody else use our product. I'm like, what the fuck?
yeah, I don't get it. Oh, man, yeah, I've forgotten how big the division is. Fuck me.
Yeah,
Showing
and
stuff out there.
they've been adding shit to it. Like, I mean, not like they've been adding super endgame stuff, so nothing that we've been doing, shall we say, but um, adding like I guess cosmetics and more endgame items.
I actually have almost a full 6 slot set of the medic stuff.
Yeah,
I just
I have
I was
no
super bummed
classified.
that I couldn't get the final part, but yeah, I was like, ah man.
I have no classified parts of the set that I wanted, which is a
Well,
shame.
we have to be around on the. We have to basically grind the world events when they come out to get them.
Yeah,
You have to like pay attention to what sets are available.
yeah, and
Um,
we stopped playing after a while, so it's like yeah,
well, yeah, I remember we burnt out during the first world event that we did.
yeah, because it is a lot of grind, and like we weren't quite good enough to do like the one where it's like the fucking APC or something.
Oh yeah, but that was the most efficient thing. That's not how I got all of my stuff.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
ran
no,
I
we ran
ran the
the
world console mission like about a billion
no,
times.
you and me both, where we just it's like the Russian consulate, and you just do that mission like for like a million years, and that's how you get the points, and then you open the crates, and then you don't get the ninja backpack, and that's my experience. If that,
I remember Aiden got one.
yeah, but I thought he already had one or something like that, but because I got like other artifacts or uniques or whatever the hell they are, but not the one that could potentially give me a new gameplay, a new way to play the game, which I was
Yeah,
interested in.
yeah. I want that final slot because I think it makes my boxes like super tough,
Oh,
extends the range out and stuff like that. It's really crazy. Hmm. But yeah, like I'm actually getting it installed now. It's gonna take a little while, but yeah, I'll leave you to it, bud,
yeah. All right.
because I'll see you soon. Okay.
Yeah, it's been fun chatting. We haven't
Yeah,
talked in a
yeah.
while.
Thanks for catching up a little bit. It's just apologies if I've been keeping myself on the It's just
No, I've been doing exactly the same. So I mean, say for the weekends, I'm generally like focused on doing other things, and
yeah,
sometimes also
I
wasting
tell
all
you
my free
something, dude.
time.
Like playing JRPGs when you're super tired is nice and relaxing.
Oh, for
I guess
sure.
that's the reason why I've been playing them a bunch recently.
And I've just been playing Claudin because for some reason I'm just super into magic circles. Like that mechanic. I'm just like, I fucking want it. I want my numbers to go higher.
Yeah, bro. I'll catch you
Alright.
later. Have a good night.
Good night.